Because the Politics show can exclusively reveal the results of a fascinating new poll into what young people, 4,000 of them, aged between 14 to 24, think about politics and politicians. It's been carried out on behalf of the Citizenship Foundation, and we asked the pupils at a school in Rickmansworth, just outside London, to have a look at its findings.
The survey asked, how likely are we to vote?
Over 2/3 said they were likely.
The survey asked which issues have increased our interest in politics.
The top two were the recession and the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. The MP's expenses scandal was next on the list.
And what about the whole issue of trust?
2/3 of young people said they do not trust leading politicians, but business leaders, celebrities, journalists and religious leaders are trusted even less than MPs.
In this survey, more young people thought they might vote Conservative rather than Labour or the Liberal Democrats.
23% said they'd think of voting Tory, with 18% voting for Gordon Brown or Nick Clegg.
So, what did young people identify as their priorities for government?
The favourite answer was reducing unemployment, with investment in health and education next on the list. Tackling climate change came in fifth.
What do young people think they get taught too much about at school?
The top answers were drugs and sex.
And what do we learn too little about?
Perhaps surprisingly, most said things like banking, personal finances and mortgages, even politics.
And finally, should 16-year-olds get the vote?
Most said no. 54% said this was something they would not support, with only 31% in favour.
Well, a fascinating range of views there. Liam Byrne, let me come to you there first of all. I don't know, I've done various bits of work with the Citizenship Foundation, and the thing that astonished me there was that children think they get at school far too much sex and drugs, nothing like enough personal finance and mortgages.
Yeah, I thought it was fascinating. I mean, it reflects a lot of the work that I've done in my own schools in Hodge Hill, and I recently finished a whole round of youth conferences in all of our schools, and I asked young people in my constituency what was their top priority for new investment. And overwhelmingly, people said learning a new skill, e.g. starting a business. So I think what it does tell us is actually that our young people are very aspirational. They do want to get on and get up in life. And actually, you know, they're looking for policies that actually help people succeed, which is why I think education was also one of the things that was flagged up as an issue that was really important to young people.
Yes, Liam Fox, I just wonder whether you think that, you know, it sounds like the kids feel they're getting certain subjects just thrown at them all the time, and they're not that interested in them. They want to learn about, you know, how to have a building society account, how to run a bank account.
I think it's very interesting that what the survey shows is that they're reflecting the views of much of the rest of the population. They're very concerned about the state of the economy. Obviously, they're concerned about the depths of the recession and the amount of debt that they're going to be saddled with as the next generation of taxpayers. And the fact that they are focusing on this, I think, is indicative of the fact that the population as a whole, no doubt their parents talking to them, are worrying about the financial position in which they'll find themselves in the future. In other words, that the current spending and the overspending and the debt is going to be left right on their doorsteps.
Yeah, I mean, there are easy political points to be made there, but what struck me particularly was the total distrust they have in politicians, whether left or right, and I've got to say journalists as well, and all sorts of people who seem to be figures in authority. Liam Fox, do you find that depressing?
Yes, I do find it a little bit depressing, but I don't find it particularly surprising. We do live in a very cynical age, and if you simply read through today's Sunday papers, you'll not find very many ideas of trust in authority. What I found was interesting about the survey was that it wasn't just politicians who were not held in great trust by the young people, but, as you say, all sorts of other figures. I have to say I had a little smile on my face when journalists were actually further down the list than politicians.
Yeah, I couldn't possibly comment on that. Liam Byrne, but even religious leaders are sort of held in such low esteem.
Well, I think the point about the survey, and that, you know, and this comes up with my own work with young people in Birmingham, is that young people are interested in strategies for change. What they don't want is a lot of sort of talk and empty promises. They're much more interested in how they and we, as a country and as a community, actually can come together more effectively and more fluently in order to deliver change, to the things that are going on outside their front door and to the things that will actually change their prospects in the years to come. And as I say, I mean, that's why I think, amidst this survey is quite a lot of interest in investment in education and investment in skills. And as I say, the things that will actually help young people succeed in life.
And